Hello and welcome to Fractured Light Uncovered. Today is a new evening for me, and we're gonna answer a very profound question that for me, I was a little bit skeptical to not answer this question. I get my questions through various sources, and when I saw this question online, I was not that comfortable with it at first, but I feel like there's a lot of power in pushing through. So that's exactly what I'm going to do today. And if you have anything that you would like to share with me as we wrap this up, I would love to know your answer as well. Maybe you can relate to something I'm going to say. Maybe you want to share your story, and please do. That's what this safe space is for. Today's question is, what's a version of you from the past that you'd want to sit next to for 10 minutes now? And what would you hope they finally understand? I didn't really know how to go about this at first. I was thinking about finding a sad version of myself, a depressed version of myself, and just kind of doing the cliche of, don't worry, things get better, you'll be fine. But you know what? Like, I don't think life is consistent enough for us to maintain fine or okay for years straight, right? It just is unrealistic. So then I thought about doing it in a different way. And the way that I'm going to do this is, I thought for a while which version of myself I'm going to connect with. I am going to connect with my 22-year-old self, which was almost 8 years ago. And I remember being 22, and there was one specific evening that, oh my God, I was just having so much fun. I spent so much time getting ready for a client's show, and it was just, I was having so much fun that whole night. I drove to the venue, the bar that she was performing at, and I felt like a celebrity the whole drive there. My phone was blowing up. I was getting all of these business emails and texts and people congratulating myself and my client on this gig. I remember bringing her a bottle of wine at this bar, and oh my gosh, I just was so excited that entire day. I, for a while, was unable to perform music myself through the year of 2018 because in December of 2017, I had 2 throat surgeries. So singing was kind of just off the table for a hot minute. I didn't really perform a show again until May of 2019 after that. And then there were appointments I had to get checked at, and it did not become as consistent for a few years at that point. So I was just having the time of my life trying to launch a small business of being an artist manager and supporting my clients in the sense of, they were working a lot, they were doing non-music work, and I wanted to be the asset that they needed to book their shows, to connect with colleagues, and all of that. So this particular evening sticks out to me because I felt like I was on top of the world. We got this gig that was so hard to get. So many people were trying to get this gig, and they had this gig before, and I was trying for months to get this for my client. And we finally got it, and I was just ecstatic about it, and she was ecstatic about it. So I remember being on her social media account, which I was running at the time, and making these videos as I was walking through the parking lot across my street where I was living at the time, and just hyping up this show on both of our Instagram accounts. And I remember getting in the car after I put on my favorite outfit. I put on some concealer under my eyes. I put on a hair mist. It was just, I was living my life. I felt nobody could touch me at that particular moment in time. And like I said, I got in the car. I got in my very shitty 1993 Buick Century that was such an old man car. And I really just felt on top of the world. And I got there and we spent time together. Her girlfriend showed up, loved her. She was actually my hairstylist too at that time. So we had so much fun, the three of us. Just, there was some kind of like wing buffet. They had like all these boneless wings out, and it was free if you were there between like a certain increment of minutes, it was like free. It was really cool. That entire night was just fun and chaos, and I remember just running around a lot, but then I also remember like having great conversations with people. And the thing that I would like to say to my 8-year younger self at that point is sometimes your dreams and your goals work out in ways that you may not expect. And if something falls apart and you did everything that you felt you could have in that time frame to try to save it, to try to keep all the pieces intact, you've done everything that you had to do. And it's safe and it's fair for you to move on and find the path that is resonating with you more so at a higher level. I think at this point it's going to be pretty clear that that business venture for me did not end in the most glamorous or the most glitzy or exciting way. And it took me a long time to manage through the sadness of what came after that and the fallout of a client or two who I genuinely cared about a lot. But I look back at that time in my life, and I look back at how happy I was on some days and how sad I was on other days. And this kind of ties right back into the whole life is not consistent enough to give us bursts of joy and happiness every single day for a year or 2 years. And once you find the peace within that, it becomes so much more easy to manage the small ups and downs of life. At that time, for me, it was very large. It was not small. But as they say, hindsight is 2020. And it's very easy to fall into traps at times when you're young and you're not maybe thinking as clearly as you potentially could have. But I will repeat what I would have said to my younger self. If you felt that you couldn't do anything more to keep the pieces intact and to keep everything glued together, accept that you did what you had to do and it did not pan out how you expected. There's nothing wrong with trying something and then learning from it. Maybe that was the universe's way of telling me it's so much more important now that you are healed from your surgery to focus your energy back into you. 29, going on 30 very soon, in the big picture of life, is not very, very old. I feel it on my back. I feel it on my right shoulder sometimes, but it's not very old. A lot of that is lugging equipment around and musical stuff for many, many years at this point. But the goal and what the main takeaway from this particular episode is that it's much more important to not place judgment on yourself. Even if you felt that at a time you were happy and things were going well. And as long as we grow and we learn from the things that disappointed us, or maybe didn't, the things that didn't disappoint us, maybe we were just happy-go-lucky, stupid happy in my case, and very young. But there's no shame in looking at a part of you or your old past self and saying, you made mistakes, you invested in people, and you spent a lot of time doing it. But that time is now over. I, at this point, would like to take a moment to open this up to the audience, to you guys. Have you ever felt like there was something that you needed to say to your past self? Is there any particular period of time that you look back upon in your life and you think, I was happy then, but things weren't really how they seemed? Or, I was really sad then. I was really emotional then. But all that emotion led me to a point of being very, very intelligent and educated about everything that I have gained through life since that time. This is Fractured Light Uncovered, presented by David's Beauty Bin. I'd like to thank you for stopping by here with me today, tonight, in my safe space of this series. And I'd like to ask you now that same question. What's a version of you from the past that you'd want to sit next to for 10 minutes? And what would you hope they finally understand? And for a little bonus, what do you think they might say back to you?